When you were on the plantation, because the photo took place, the contrast of the photo, this is what Dr. Russell pointed to so brilliantly, was that you had doctors in their white coats, and doctors are seen in this culture, and most cultures, as the height of academic and intellectual achievement because of the work that you do. So Black doctors standing in front of slave quarters, the contrast, the dichotomy, right? The tension, what Immanuel Kant would call the antinomy, two ideas that just won't reconcile themselves. And you guys are standing there. I want to ask you a question on the lower frequency. Even as you were wearing the white coat, even as you were manifesting being a doctor, what did it feel like in your soul to stand on a plantation?
So there are no words to describe the emotional, spiritual, just physical feeling that you get in that space. I 100% urge anyone in the New Orleans area to attend the Whitney Plantation. It's a unique place that focuses on a lot of slaves, not the slave owners, and not the old South that we all seem to see romanticized on television. But to stand on those cabins, my spirit was moved. There was something in that space that made me feel so like there was a deep hidden feeling of sorrow to feel that, you know, my ancestors had gone through this and that they lived in these conditions. There was a deep feeling of pride to say, I'm here. Look, like essentially we came back to say, we're here and look what we did. You know what I mean?
Won.
And it's a mixed feeling of emotions because there's so many things going through your head at the same time. You feel sad, you feel angry, you feel upset, but you feel proud. And you feel, once again, you feel ignited. You feel like this is only the first step. This is not going to end here. We're going to do so much more after this. And that feeling, that manifesting and that paying it forward that we're doing with our organization, that started right there on those steps, on that porch, because we just knew we're doing it for them, you know?
Yeah, no, and I want to talk about the work that you're doing, but not yet, because I want to stay in this, because to me, this is just as important as that work. People understanding the psychology and the emotions that helped create this moment, that created the ability to do this work, are just as important as the actual work that you're doing, at least where I come from. Which makes me want to ask you, I asked Dr. Russell, I asked Dr. Sidney about the contrast and the importance of it. I'm going to give you a phrase, and I just let that phrase, whatever comes up in response to it, let it do its work on you. I think the importance of that photo, why it went viral, was because deep down in us, in some deep African way, we all know, here's the phrase, that you become what you see.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing we can hang our hat on from now until the day that we go back to meet the good old Lord, is that we know, right? A baby, a child, some young child with all of their brown skin and their beautiful hair and their beautiful butter, you know, just all of who they are can look at that and say, I'm next. I got up next. I got up next. Because if they can do it and they willing to let me put this in my room, all of the kids in my neighborhood have that photo. All of the kids in my neighborhood have that photo. And that's the whole idea behind the work that we're doing, is that it's about cultural imagery. Our children need to see that their brain is like soil on rich land. And all you gotta do is just plant a little knowledge in there and then watch it grow. Just watch it grow. Just watch it grow. It's like literally it's soil on rich land. You could literally put the worst, you know, most damaged seed in there and it'll still grow. Because I mean, if you think about some of the history, right, of children growing up in America, the masses, the faceless, right, all the masses that were faceless, and they still end up being, you know, the doctors that we talked about, the lawyers that we talked about, right? Look at the impact of the exonerated five. After all that trouble they went through, now they literally go around the world telling people what really needs to be done to make change. I mean, we have this trademark phrase from the 15 White Coats that says, resilience is in our DNA. It's literally encoded in who we are. So it doesn't matter what situation you put us in, we're gonna figure out a way to be resilient enough to come up out of it and be something that this world has never seen before. The creativity, the ingenuity, the novelness of us is just, it's exhilarating. It's godlike. That's exactly what it is.
No, it is on so many levels. And so Dr. Sidney, Dr. Russell is pushing us in a very important direction. Talk to me about how your work with 15 white coats implies a commitment to excellence. Because one of the things I try to do on this show is to bring people into contact with excellence. People who have done great work, who are doing great things. And I think that liberation isn't just a political reality. It is about us having certain commitments, what I would call certain existential commitments. And one of them is a commitment to excellence.
Right. So for me, to see the impact and the range that this photo has had across millions, I'm saying internationally, right? So I had no idea the climate, the racial climate of those in Brazil, but it's horrific. So for me, a commitment to excellence is everything that this photo stands for, right? So we just put together a artistic representation of one of our photos, in which we're standing on the porch, and we have all of our faces blurred out, because we want to inspire excellence in every last person who sees that image. So instead of seeing Sydney's face, or instead of seeing Russell's face, or instead of seeing Rachel's face, or Mashley's face, they can see the different shades of Black people, the different hair textures of Black people, the different heights, the different sizes, and they can see themselves in that photo. And that, to me, is the most important idea behind being committed to excellence. Is not only being committed to my excellence, but being committed to pushing the excellence of other people and those around me. Because like Russell said, if you want to check your net worth, you need to check your network. And that's just it. And I'm so blessed to have been in an opportunity where I have sisters and I have friends who are all doing phenomenal, amazing things within their own respective fields. And for me, paying it forward, that's the least I can do.
Let's celebrate Russell for a second, and then he and I'll come back and celebrate you. But let's celebrate the fact, Sydney, I want you to respond to this. The fact that when he made the calls to the doctors, that he had the wherewithal, he had the cosmopolitan sensibility enough, he was progressive enough, human enough, man enough to make sure that he called women, to make sure that there were Black women included in this moment. Talk to me about the significance of that, and just how you feel as a Black woman that he was intentional to make sure that Black women were represented in this contrasting, powerful moment.
One thing I think we need to also bring into light is that Black women are amongst the most educated people in America. And that's a statistic that everyone can look up. And It's the fact that Black women have this ability to be strong, to be intelligent, to be all of these things when we are considered brushed off and stereotyped in every way, shape, and form. And the fact that there are a lot of Black women in that photo is that I want someone to draw into question, because there are a lot of Black doctors and a lot of Black women who are doctors in America. And we need to be proud of every last one of those, because they are so vital in so many of the different ways. You think about Black maternal mortality, how the Black woman is so at such a high risk of dying during childbirth compared to any woman of any other race. And they are so important that we are here to speak for one another. Because if we don't speak for one another, we don't speak for ourselves, who's going to speak for us? So it's the fact that Black women are Black girl magic in every way, shape, and form. And there's literally nothing else you can call it besides magic, because that's what it is. It is magic.
Yes.